Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and should be the final video in this Express tutorial. So just to kind of recap, we've learned the ins and outs of Express, we've learned how to connect it to a Mongo database, and we have learned to, actually there'll probably be one more video, to deploy our server. That'll be the last video. So in this video we're going to do is take our app so far. We've built a little mini API that allows us to see dogs and create dogs, and we're going to build like a website. There's two approaches to this. The first approach is not the one I'd recommend. This is having your server actually deliver the website. You could do this with a templating engine. I'm not going to go over that right now. But you could also just do it like, let's say we're building a React site. So I'm going to show you two ways you could do React. Okay, I could build the React site right here in the project. Okay, and if I do that, let's show you how you would do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to use a very basic React build. Okay, I want to use this command here, npx create react basic, and we're just going to call this react. So npx create react basic react. Okay, and that should copy that into there. There it is. Okay, it's in our folder. Okay, and now what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want our, things are going to get a little complicated. Okay, but first things first, let's just configure this folder. So when you use this template, you have to cd into the folder you just created. So cd into react, so cd into react, and then I'm going to do a npm install to install all the dependencies in that folder. Okay, and for now we're going to kind of treat them as two separate projects. But theoretically, if I want the files that are going to be, when this is done, to serve, React is going to end up building a build folder. So what I'll do is I'll just serve that publicly. So I'll just go to express.static here, make a second version of it that is going to serve React, but inside the React folder there should be a build folder, and it will serve that. Okay, and just as an example, let's do this. Let's run that build command here in React one time first. So npm run build. I'm in the React folder, so I do npm run build. It's just going to do a quick build. There it goes. So now if I go to React, I'll see there's this build folder with that final build. So now if I were to run my Express folder full server, so let me just go back up a folder, npm run dev. Okay, I should be able to go to the index page, and it should show me the React page. So I go to localhost 3000. I was still showing hello world because I still have that hello world route, but let me take that out. Oh wait a second. Oh no, that's right. That's the default hello. Okay, so it's showing the React page. That's the default page from this React template. So yeah, so it's serving the built React project. So that works. The only issue with this is that you're having your server do double work. Okay, your server is not only handling your API, but it's also serving your website. So it's just more work for your server, which means more expenses in serving. It's much cheaper to deploy your front-end website on some front-end deployment service, which is going to be much cheaper, and then just have your server API like on Heroku or something, where you're likely to stay within that free tier because you're only pulling data from it. Okay, but let's see here. But you could do that. Okay, and then this would work. Okay, so then you would just build out your React site here. So in the meantime, when I'm developing, I would open up another terminal in here, because again, the production build, that build folder, is not going to update itself. I have to run that build command. So what I'll do is I'll go into, I have to start a separate server for the React, and the React has a command npm start. Oh yes, wrong. Not create React app. This is create React basic, which uses the command also npm run dev. Okay, cool. So there's that. So all we're going to do is we're going to make this real simple. We're just going to basically show the list of dogs first. So I'm going to go into this React app. Go to my components. Okay, and I'm assuming that you maybe know something about React. If not, then you should go watch my set of React videos. But I'm just going to quickly create some state for the dogs. So const dogs. Set dogs. This is like state is like a variable that like automatically updates things. So react.use state. And right now it's just an empty array. Okay. And what I want to do is then we're going to make an API call. So react.use effect. And what I'm going to do here is do an API call to those dogs. So fetch. And again, our API right now is HTTP localhost. HTTP localhost. HTTP localhost / dogs / and actually here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just make a URL for a variable for the URL, so this is easier to adjust later when we build it all out. So just URL equals HTTP /www dot www dot no, not just localhost 3000 / dogs. Cool. So we'll say fetch URL and then just do our normal .then. So .then response. And if not familiar with the fetch function, I do have videos on the fetch function as well, which allows us to make a API request. Response.json and then .then we receive the data from the previous .then, and now we can use the data to do what we want to do is just set the, which is going to be the dogs, the array of dogs, because we're just making, that's essentially making that same GET request we made in Postman. So set dogs to the data. Cool. And then here, I'm just going to create a very basic template. Okay. And what I want to do in here is I want to create an is we're going to do a dogs.map because we have an array of dogs and I want to map over the array of dogs. And then for each dog, I'm going to make an h1 with the dog dog.name. That's the name of the dog. And then now I should see that on here. No, let's take a look. Okay, failed to load promise, syntax error, unexpected token, and JSON. So that, go examine that a little bit. So let's see here, fetch the URL, localhost 3000 / dogs. Actually, is it dogs or is it dog? So let's go here, it's dog. So that's my mistake. Okay. So dog. Now let's take a look at the page and see. It made the API call. It got the data from the API and rendered that all there. So that's pretty cool. Okay. And now we want to make a form to create a new dog, let's say. So we'll say h1 make a new dog. So we're going to have form. Okay, with 2 fields. Okay, and I'm feeling particularly lazy, so I'm going to use refs to do the form today. Not the typical convention. Usually you have to use all these like handle click and handle submit functions and handle change functions, but I'm going to use sort of the sloppy way of doing it. So const, we'll say name ref equals react dot use anything about that? Yeah, use ref null const age ref equals react dot use ref null. Cool. Okay, so in the form, we're going to create an input of type equals text. Okay, and the ref is going to equal the name ref, because this is going to be the name field. So placeholder equals name. Okay, and then I'll create another one. Okay, so for this one's going to be a number field. And this is the age ref. So, and this is age. Now I don't need this for this one. This is going to be the submit button. And the value is going to equal submit. Okay. So now all I have to do is create a function for when the form is submitted. So I'll go over here. We will define an onSubmit function. Const handle submit equals the event. And then we need to make sure that the form doesn't refresh the page. So event.prevent default. And then we're going to want to make an API request to make the new dog. So fetch. Okay, so fetch URL. Except now we're making a post request, so I have to pass in an object with more details. So method is a post request. And since we're sending data, I got to specify some headers. So headers is an object with my request headers. So I'm going to specify the header that tells us that it's JSON data. So that's content type. And that content type is going to equal application JSON. Okay. It has to be exactly that because that's what the server is looking for. That's going to get picked up by that express.json middleware. We'll then parse that to the body, and actually we need to send over the body. Okay, so the body is going to have, we have to stringify, we have to send a JSON string, so we have to use JSON.stringify and pass in the object that we're sending over, which is an object that's going to have a name, which is really going to be equal to the name ref dot current dot value. That's how you access the value of that form that it's referring to. And then age, which is going to be the age ref dot current dot value. We make that post request, and yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Okay, content type application JSON. That's going to make the request. And then I don't really care about .thens because I don't really care about doing anything with the response. But what I do want to do is I want to get the updated list of dogs. Okay. Now what I can do as an easy workaround is that because I'm not going to be deleting dogs or updating dogs right now, I could just take the current dog array to say new dogs const new dogs equals a new array, in that new array, we're going to expand the current dogs array and then add the new dog. But I actually need to grab the new dog first. So dot then response equals response.json. Because again, for every fetch, you have to do this 2.thens. Dot then data. Okay, and then let me take that out, cut. And again, the data we get back from the post is just supposed to be the object with the new dog, so data should be just plopped right in there. So we now have a new array of dogs, and then we'll set dogs to this new dogs array. Okay. Cool. And so that should, so that makes the function, but now we have to connect the function to the form. So on submit equals, and whenever we click that in handle submit function, it's going to run that handle submit function. Save. So let's go back to our page. So there we go. We have spot, rover, buddy. We can make a new dog. Let's refresh the page. Okay. And now let's try to make a new dog. We'll say Airbud. And we'll say Airbud is 6 years old. I hit submit. And yeah, it worked. See, it created a new dog. Now, did it add it to my database? Well, if it added it to my database, then if I refresh the page, it should still be there. And it's still there. Good, because when the page starts over, it's all blank. It makes the API request for the dogs. So we see Airbud's still in there. So wonderful. This is all working. Okay, so that's one way to do it. So now what I would do is I'd kill my dev server in React. Okay, and now I can build. Although when you're building it, I don't need, since this is all going to be served by the same server, I don't need to put the full URL. I can just do this /dog, and that should still work. Okay. So let's do an npm run build. Npm run build. That'll build this out. Okay, so let me go back over to our server over here. I'm going to restart my Express server. So now there should be an updated build in that build folder. Okay, and now if I go to localhost 4000 / not 4000, let's go 3000 / because that's the Express server. There it is. It's working. Let's see here. Chizo /7. Okay, perfect. So that's the deal there. Okay, so now there are two. First, let's deploy this in the next video. So in the final video, we'll deploy it. But that's how you would make the React app. Now, again, I remember there was a second way. The second way is just taking the same app, but just putting it in a separate folder, deploying it separately. So I'll be making a copy of this in the next round, and we'll deploy both. So I'll come back in the next video, and we'll do that, and that'll cap off this video series.